Making the Invisible Visible, Black Women 365 Days of the Year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
My name is Nova Reid and I do a lot of work that is front-facing around racial justice, around healing, and I think people can often treat me like a resource rather than a human being. So yeah, who am I really? Human. I'm very playful. I've been described by many people in different iterations as a light bringer. So I like to think I bring light and energy and vitality to a room, but truth is probably the biggest answer. In this season, I'm trying to hold space more for myself. I've been overextending, I would say, for the last 6 years in holding space for others. And so I'm trying not to leave myself out of that. Last year I did a project called Hidden Histories with Nova Reid that tells the story of amazing Black women from the Caribbean who have paved the way in civil rights, and their stories are buried, and it was really important to tell their stories in a way where I honour their humanity, not just what they did. Some of those women, I want to name them: Queen Nanny of the Maroons, Barbara Blake Hannah, Dame Jocelyn Barrow, Olive Morris, Cuba Cornwallis. I'm trying to speak their names into existence and just bring their humanity in and not just what they did. So I'm trying to do more of that for myself at the moment. That's what I'm exploring. I'm doing my debut one-woman show at Bloomsbury Theatre in London next month, where I am doing the opposite of what I used to do. I come from an acting background. I left that industry a long time ago. But the last time I was on stage like that, I was an actress, and so I'm just going on stage unscripted, raw, unedited, and bringing conversations that often happen behind closed door in WhatsApps with a lot of Black women I know who are struggling or just trying to navigate the world. Sometimes some of the most profound messages or lessons that I get are from people that I don't know, and they're just fleeting. I remember I was travelling to Jamaica a few years ago and I was waiting to get on the plane and they were taking forever. I don't like flying, so I'm quite tunnel vision. I'm focusing on, staying calm. To an external person, I probably look quite antisocial, and this elder came up to me and she asked if she could stand with me in the queue, and I said yes. She kept me company for a while. She was doing most of the talking, and she was very intrigued by me, and so we had a little bit of back and forth. Nothing where I disclosed anything about who I am or what I do. And then just as she was getting on the plane, she said, "I have a message for you. Remember who you are. Don't forget who you are." And then off she went. And so I get nudges like that to remember who I am in how I create and the choices that I make in the work that I do. I'm human, and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes and I need support sometimes. People see the strong Black woman, the person that everyone leans on, and I think people make assumptions that when you reach certain heights, or certain perceived heights, I would say, that you don't still need support. You always need support. We're still learning, we're still dealing with life behind the scenes of what it is we do for work, and we're still experiencing the hostility that you cannot escape living in Britain on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I think people often see the strength without all of the other nuances and complexities of who I am, and then someone else who wants to be cared for. I mean, when it's slow and I have financial resource, that is easy for me to sit in rest. I used to work in mental health for a decade, and so as part of that training, you're taught to have your rest days. You are only supposed to work in a therapeutic way with a certain number of clients a week. Otherwise, it's tantamount to malpractice. There's an inability for you to do your job well if you're burned out. So that was always my grounding. So rest is quite easy for me to achieve because it's been practiced for over 2 decades. That's not to say there aren't times when I'm doing a project that I love, I'm so immersed in it, I can get carried away, and there's sometimes where I'm doing projects that I don't love so well and there are unsustainable deadlines where I've had to say I'm not doing any more, I've had to stop, and there are other times when I've had to push through. So it's still an ongoing relationship, but my work is around healing and liberation. I don't understand how we can not think about how we treat our bodies as machines, ignore our body cues for rest, ignore our body cues for care. We can't get to liberation and healing if we treat our bodies like we're less than human. Like, that to me is too close to the lineages I've got lost to slavery. I will not treat my body like a machine.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the invisible visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.